Hi ho and welcome to Curtain Call, where I'll be talking about all things theatre. I'm James and today is my review of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella. This was actually my very first trip back to the theatre since the pandemic, and oh my word, it was absolutely fabulous. I have to admit, right at the end, I did burst into tears because it was just a really emotional time. Seeing people dance and sing, and it was just so good to see. I was crying throughout, I was laughing throughout. There are going to be spoilers, so if you don't want anything to be given away or anything like that, please watch this review after you've seen the show, because I don't want to ruin the production for you. But before I begin with my full review, here's me at the interval with my thoughts of the first act. Oh my word, this is absolutely incredible. The set is superb. As soon as I walked into the theatre, I was just gobsmacked. I was just so impressed. The characters are outstanding. The show is fantastic. There's been a couple of songs where I've literally cried, like Bad Cinderella and Only You, Lonely You, which is the Prince's solo. Oh my word, I cannot express enough how amazing this show is, and I cannot wait for the second act. It's fabulous. But yeah, let's go on to the review. The stage in itself was really cool. I can only explain it's like Hamilton, how it's got them turntables, on the stage. And when it came to the surprise bit, where the front section get to experience, it actually swizzles round into it in a round stage. I've never experienced something like that ever in the theatre, and I'm gonna say it, it's changed the theatre game 100% by moving the audience members, moving the auditorium. The set and costume designer Gabriella Telzova did an absolute fantastic job on this. The costumes are like periodic but very modern at the same time. The men was wearing like gladiator kind of outfits, and the girls were like wearing corsets, very like sexy outfits, if you want to put it like that way. It brought the characters out a bit more. For example, the stepsisters, they were in like these corsets throughout the whole show. It was showing how they were just like focused on the beauty because the brains of them are just really dumb. So I really like how the costumes really impacted each character's personalities. Speaking of the stepsisters, Marie, who were performed by Georgina Castle, and Adele by Laura Baldwin, I really like their performances because even though you really wanted to hate them, I was just laughing at them throughout the whole thing. They'll make a really bitchy comment towards Cinderella and you just had to laugh because it was really funny. Also, Prince Sebastian, performed by Ivano Turco, he was absolutely fantastic. In the first scene or two, I was a bit, I'm not sure about him, but he actually built into his character throughout the performance. So I am going to put that down as nerves because it was opening Saturday night. From reading the programme, this was his big break, if you want to put it that way, so I can understand that it might be a bit nervous for it, which is completely understandable. I will talk about the numbers going forward. His voice is absolutely stunning. Carrie Fletcher, do I need to even say anything about her, because we just know she's going to be fabulous and she suits this role. I think Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote Cinderella for Carrie Fletcher to perform as, so he had her in mind, thinking, oh, she'll be great at this and that was intended. Two of the other main characters, the stepmother, performed by Victoria Hamilton Barrett, oh my word, she was so funny. She was speaking like this all the time, like Cinderella. There was this really funny scene where she had this uncontrollable laugh, where she was laughing like, and she must have been doing that for about, I'm not even joking, for about 2 or 3 minutes, which is a long time on stage, and I was absolutely stitches because it was so funny. And on to Rebecca Traherne, who performed the Queen. She was really good. The Queen was really sexy, flirty character who always, go, oh, I'm the Queen, and you know it, and you got to fancy me. Those two, the stepmother and the Queen, perfect pairing. They really bounced off each other. Great character performances by them two, indeed. On to the numbers now. Like I mentioned, I were quite emotional being back at the theatre, but there were a few that actually were crying at. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be truthful on these reviews. They were bad Cinderella. At the end, it just brought me to tears because I'm like, oh, back at theatre, love it. Prince Sebastian's, this is what I want about with him having a stunning voice. Only You, Lonely You. His voice was just goosebumps. There were just goosebumps and I was crying. I was really connecting to character with that. It was such a beautiful, beautiful number. Far Too Late, which is like a heartbreaking song for Cinderella. That was really emotional as well. More onto like the funny side of the numbers. Man's Man, oh, that was great. It was a really manly song, which I loved. If I was in the show, I could really see myself performing that because it was just a great male number. Also, I Know You. What a brilliant number this was. This is where the Queen and the stepmother know each other's past and they're like, I know you. The two characters collided and this is what I really loved about them two when they were on stage together. The Cinderella waltz, which is just a piece of music, whilst they're of course having a dance at the ball. Really like swaying and beautiful piece of music where it really got you into the actual performance. The last number I really want to mention is Marry for Love. This is where we get to find out that Prince Charming, who just came back from the dead, basically said, I'm not straight, I'm gay, and that's why I pretended to be dead so I can marry the man I love. It was just a bit like a where did that come from moment, but the staging of that was brilliant and it was such a powerful number. As you'll probably get to know me throughout these reviews, I'm a sucker for a chorus number and that is one of the best numbers in this show. It was at the Gillian Lynn Theatre. The seats were really comfy, you could tell they were new seats. I had a cider and yeah, it was really tasty. I had strawberries and cream ice cream for £5 each, but yeah, it was a nice ice cream. I've had better. I expected if it were £5 to actually have frozen strawberries inside, but alas, there wasn't. So I'm coming towards the end of my review now, and would I recommend it? 100% yes, I would recommend it. If you can't afford them special seats at the front section, don't worry, you will still be involved with it because I think looking from behind or to the side, such a cool experience to see. But if you can afford them front section tickets, please get them because it will enhance your experience and it'll be a memory that you'll never forget. The production itself is one of the best I've ever seen, and I can guarantee this is not the first and last time I'm seeing the show. In these reviews, I want to pick out a star performer. This is where I will pick on one individual where I think they were the best performer on the night. I could give all the main principals the star performer. The casting director, David Grindrod, he did a superb job on that because honestly with the principals there were no one who were average, and it's rare to see that, if I'm being totally honest. When you go see a show you sometimes go, oh, they're not as sharp as the others, but after much consideration it has to be the stepmother, who performed by Victoria Hamilton Barrett. I think she made the show for me. She was really funny. Having that voice throughout the show must have some strain on your vocal cords, and that is why she's my star performer. Now to the very final thing of this review is starring out of 5. I think you could probably tell what I'm going to give it. It is definitely 5 stars. I loved it so much. I'm just so happy that the production was as good as what I'd hoped it to be. I were a bit skeptical whether it was going to be good or not because it's a new show, like they can either flop or fly. This is definitely a show that you need to see. From the acting to the numbers to the production side with the sets and the costumes, just all of it incredible. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for listening. That's my review of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella at the Gillian Lynn Theatre in London, and that's your curtain call.